if I send you a return ticket, will you come back for a month? And to my mind, the loss of me, and she told people, they told me, that she said that she always prayed that in her next lifetime she would come back again as my mother, because she was afraid otherwise I would have a parent who didn't understand I needed to lead a special sort of life. That's love. That's love, that's not attachment.
Yes.
This is addressed to Swami. I always spring to my feet if anybody needs help, but have difficulties in doing things for myself. Is this wrong? If it is, how can I put this right?
This is kind of the heart of a problem, isn't it, for women? And thank God, first of all, let's not see it as such a big problem, that we are willing to spend our time and our energy and our compassion on others is really not a neurosis. Don't let them try and kid you that. It's one of our great gifts. So, first of all, thank God we have that. Secondly, I think part of the problem is me and them. Part of engaging this divine feminine is to make sure that I am fit for the battle. So when the Devi emerges naked, she gathers the skills. That is the putting on of the clothes and the jewelry. She gathers the skills that she needs. When she puts on the armor, she puts on that which will protect herself. That might be your diet, it might be your exercise, it might be your moments of peace. My grandmother used to do something fabulous. She had, I think, millions of grandkids. It certainly seemed like that. But when there were a lot of us around, she would take her apron and put it over her head. And when she put her apron over it, we knew we had to be quiet. This was Grandma's race. And she took it 2 or 3 times in the afternoon when we were there. Everything would stop, it was Grandma's apron. She didn't say anything, we knew. Grandma's apron went over her head. She was taking some quiet time for herself. But in these days of hyper-parenting, that is just unbelievable. You've got to be there 24 hours a day, available to your children. No, you don't. They are not yours, they do not belong to you. They've come through you and they need to be with you for a very short time only, as Jetsunma said. So we need to shift it's getting the balance again. Once we shift that emphasis in our minds to our spiritual journey, that my mothering is a part of my spiritual journey, that being a wife is a part of my spiritual journey, that being a good housewife is part of my spiritual journey, that being a friend, a supportive friend to my many friends who will call on me is part of my spiritual journey. And all of these parts are still not the whole. There are my own quiet, private practices where I take care of this self, which is not different from that self, that make up the whole of my spiritual practice.
This is addressed to all of you. Do you have a vision of a way forward to activate and unify the women in global spiritual leadership?
Not really. But I do notice that more and more there are coming about these kind of meetings just for women. You know, interfaith meetings and or meetings with Buddhist women or people from different backgrounds coming together to discuss and really search for a way in which we can go forward. And I think this didn't happen when I was younger, as far as I know. This is coming more and more and more, and this is a very positive step. The main problem for women is how to stay in harmony and how to respect each other as well as respecting themselves. Because unfortunately, so often when women come together, not in little groups like this just for a weekend, but when they stay together, then a lot of negativities turn up, you know, envy, jealousy, gossiping, pulling each other down, undermining each other's attainments and abilities. This is very sad. And it's what has hindered women through the ages, is that women do not really support each other. They do not believe in each other. And this is what has to change. Once women really understand what great potential we all have, then we can begin to rise and hold hands properly with the male. It's not a competition. It's a matter of redressing the imbalance again. But that can only come from the woman's side. And then the men will begin to understand and they also will change.
This is to Lucy.
For me, at the moment I feel, I cannot think of a spirituality without men being there. Okay? I think of a spirituality that we go walk together. Okay? That becomes more meaningful for me. Instead of saying women's spirituality or men's spirituality, I know at the moment we need to do all this, what you are doing, to wake up our women. Okay? To wake up and tell them to walk together. Not up, not down, but go together. And that is what is a struggle within me. To conscientize our women who come to my help, to tell them that you are equal, but it is impossible because they have years together. Our culture has taught us to be submissive. And here I am trying to tell them, now come, we walk together. It's very difficult, but that is what I dream. It is, and that's very, very, what do you call, it's spiritually that I'm struggling with myself to teach the women, to teach even our children. I always we have to tell, you know, in Indian culture it is so difficult. Unless you've been there and get that blood inside you, it's very difficult to understand what I'm talking. But it is that. To teach our children, our boys, you know, they will never like to sweep. Because the men, women have taught us, our mothers have taught us, you are a boy, don't touch the broom. And here I am telling them we are equal. Okay? And that's a simple thing what I am trying to tell you. But this is what is happening. And I dream of that equality where even, I don't know, I cannot quote Jesus in that way. But I find where Jesus was lifting the women, you know, being together. So that's what I dream.
Yeah, I'm with Jetsunma and Sister Lucy on this. I don't really have a big global vision, but I certainly know some of the things that each of us need to take to heart and take out into our communities. One of them is to just stop our sheer nastiness to each other. And it is the nastiness of a slave. Make no mistake about it. It is the nastiness of the powerless. We are scrapping over little bits of power. Let's stop that straight away. And to be forbearing when one of our sisters is nasty to us. Just receive it and, like Kali, drink that blood and transform it. And then to do the thing that women just dread doing after that, is to start taking leadership in our religious communities. We have, I'm going to speak about a little incident. Do I have time? In our temple in Reading. The temple was built after the Hindu community had been established there for a long time. And the temple itself was established for quite a while before we got a permanent pandit. And this young pandit, I think he was younger than 30, arrived from India. Fabulously talented young man. I kind of really liked him. He chanted, oh God, like a dream. Very knowledgeable. And we did the stupidest thing. We all gathered around him, told him how fabulous he was, and started plying him with food. And it was disastrous for the temple. And I thought, that is women refusing leadership. That's the result. We did him no service at all. We have elder women in the community who have for years been leading the prayers, quite competently, who are as knowledgeable about the religion theologically as he was. We should have said, actually, Panditji, these women are in our community, they know what the community needs, and you will be accountable to them for a probationary period of at least 3 years. We would have had a totally different outcome. That Pandit's problem was a problem that we as women dished up to him. And we must stop doing that. We must stop that silliness of handing men more power than they even asked for. He just came there ready to be the Pandit. We were there, isn't he wonderful? It was, that adulation was much more than he even asked for, and he was too young to be able to handle it. And so we have to start acting differently and taking different leadership roles in our own communities, and not being scared, not being nervous. What are they going to think of me if I do this? To hell with it. The planet is dying. Just step up to the plate.
To all three of you, what can be done to avoid stagnancy in the spiritual path?
What we are doing now, you need satsang. You need to gather with others who will constantly re-inspire you. So again, it's a matter of getting from here back into your own communities and setting up those satsangs, setting up those times where you get together and re-inspire each other. Without it, your spiritual life will sink into oblivion.
For me, what you said, what I feel is that the stagnancy sets in when we stop loving. When I know my sister is still in need of my service or love, no stagnancy will come. Stagnancy comes in spiritual life when the love inside of us is getting dry. This is my simple understanding.
Yes, well, I agree with what Swamiji and Sister Lucy say, absolutely, both of them. From a Buddhist perspective also, one of the ways to get us roused up is a sense of urgency. To realize that life is uncertain, but death is certain, and we don't know when death will come. And right now, when all the causes and conditions are together, you are in a free country, all of you live within a free country, you are educated, you can read, you can understand, you can think what you want, you can practice what you want, the teachers are there if you need them, even if you have to go onto the internet. All the causes and conditions have been created for you, which are absent through the majority of the world. And so if we lose this opportunity now, it's not likely to come back like this again. So don't be lazy, because indeed the reason why we are still in this round of birth and death or samsara is because in the past we were lazy. And so now is not the time. Now is the time to really put the spiritual at the center of our life instead of at this conference, when we've got a bit of time. Our life has to be our spiritual practice, otherwise we will not transform.
This is addressed to Jetsunma. I believe that when you are able to go into deep meditation, you can receive a deeper teaching from your soul. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't think this is just me, this is all of us here. Of course, I mean, the essential nature, our true being knows. It is total knowing that we have covered it over with our conceptual thinking and emotions, and so we have lost touch with the source. And so yes, indeed, if we can really learn how to go down into the center of our being, there is this huge, vast reservoir of understanding. But to get there is the problem. And that's what the spiritual journey is about. We are not trying to acquire something we don't already have. We are trying to go back down to look at our original wealth. We think in the Hindu Buddhist analogy, we are like a poor man who has a huge treasure inside his hovel, but he doesn't know that. And so he goes out every day as a beggar, thinking he's very poor and asking for a few coins here and there. But all the time he has limitless wealth right where he lives, but he's looking in the wrong place. And so we have to start digging.
I have nothing more to add to that.
So to all three of you, what does it mean to really be a woman?
You keep it, sister.
It's a real challenging question. What I feel is, I am so happy to be a woman. And that is it. I just live my womanhood to I feel, according to me, I feel I'm living to that fullness every day. I enjoy being a woman. And that is being woman. I don't know what the question is all about.
Yes, and also to just fully remind myself, as patriarchal power structures tell me I'm a woman, to remind myself as a woman that I am first and foremost a human being. And a human being is a divine being. And I rose long before I enter this body that has some kind of womanly features to it. That this is an outfit I've put on for this life, and a jolly nice one it is too. But that's what it is. In essence, it's a different journey.
Yes, I agree. I mean, the nature of our mind, which we sometimes can access to in deep meditation, at that time there is no male or female. You know, this is just the role we're playing for this lifetime. In other lifetimes we're playing other roles, you know. But anyway, to be a female, provided we have the opportunities for our development, for our education, for our ability to practice and to realize, then a female body actually is very useful. And in fact, many meditation masters who are monks and not in the least bit on a feminist trend have nonetheless assured me that actually their best students are women. And often quite uneducated women, and education has nothing to do with, you know, actual realization. But because the men tend to think too much, they're stuck up in their heads, they want it all, the whole path, you know, mapped out before they put their foot on it. Whereas women are naturally more at home in the intuitive. And on the spiritual journey, that's what we need, to be able to fly. This is why the Dakinis means that they are sky goers. In Tibetan, it means that they fly in space. And it's because the women feel at home in space. Because we have space within us. And so that is part of our being. And so provided we're given the right opportunities and teachings, to be a woman in this day and age is actually a great advantage, I think. Because I look at the guys and they have problems. They have problems with their male body. Really, they do.
Yes.
And I think that, you know, although we have some physical problems with menstruation and things like this, but these are just physical things. Really, on the whole, the feminine form is a very, very useful one for being on a spiritual path. And so I think we should all rejoice together as sisters in the flesh, that we have a good rebirth this time, and that, you know, to be a female is, in this day and age, the best of all possible worlds. Thank you.